I made a move. I don't know if we should talk about it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talk about stocks?
Yeah, dude. I had to move like half out of Penn. It's just moving too fast, and it like you know what I'm saying? It's moving. The gain's been too big. It's moved too fast.
It makes you too nervous. It's too quick.
Well, and the gain's there, so it's
Yeah.
like I took it and I just put it in safer stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And my gain's there too, not as much as yours, but a decent amount, probably more than I've seen on something run like that. And so I've been kind of just sitting. I haven't done anything yet, but I agree.
The question is why, right? Why do you go from fucking 14 to 30? Like, why? It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, and it's hard not to pull. But your move's always been when you see a certain percentage, you take at least what your cost back.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. And that kind of percentage, 140% is just that's ridiculous.
No one's mad they made 140%, Fosco. No. Like you go back, you can't be mad about that.
No, I'm not.
I love it. All right, let's do official. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, it's time for Q&A, which John and I really like. And we got a lot of good feedback on the stock episode. John and I, we just making it happen out here in the streets. What's good?
We making it happen. What's good? A lot of things are good. Just went to the chiropractor, got my fucking neck cracked. If anyone hasn't done it, they need to go to a chiro. First off, just because if you're active, your back could use some work. It always helps. But when they go to crack your neck, I was just telling Corey and Trey, like they crack this motherfucker like Bruce Lee does in a movie. And the first second, like after they do it, because it makes so much noise, it's so violent looking, like you think, am I still alive? And then after you realize you're still alive, you're like, holy fuck, I feel like I can break dance right now. So
I would love to see that, by the way.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You know what's so crazy is I was telling John before we came on, it's like I laugh every time Dr. Tyler does that to me, because I think I can't believe I let somebody do this to my neck without like thinking they're going to kill me. And it's so fucking loud. I'm in disbelief every time, because I'm always super fucking tight too up there.
If anyone's wondering like how aggressive it is, it is like the equivalent of like anal rape on your neck.
That's,
you know.
Trey, what are we going to do with this guy?
It's like sodomy. It's like sodomy on your neck or to your neck. I don't know.
So you just went to the chiropractor to get sodomized?
And I got sodomized on my neck.
Okay. Yeah. Great way to start the show.
Shout out to Dr. Workman.
And his name's Dr. Workman.
Yeah.
You're getting worked.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to love that. He's like, man, what a great testimonial for my chiropractic firm.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Workman, and Fosco comes to get sodomized.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be a good first question to get us started, John.
Okay.
At J Warble 13 wants to know who's better at golf between me and you.
Oh, I here's the honest God truth. If we both, Corey right now, I would say can beat me. If we both were to,
you might have been better back in the day though. You had a better game for a while.
If we both were to play for a year straight, it would
be close.
It'd be tight. Yeah. I can't honestly answer that question, because it's like I haven't picked up the sticks and played in fucking years.
Yeah. No, I played a lot more most recently, which I haven't played at all this year. But when John lived here, I played more. So when we did play, I was able to beat him. But you can tell John has game, but that's a game you have to play all the time. I mean, you just have to.
Yeah.
Do you think
when we
get back
played,
up,
that was like
John?
first time in I think 3 or 4 years for me. I won't, because here, I've always said I love going to beautiful golf courses. I really enjoy, the beauty of an amazing golf course. But golf is a game that you get out what you put in. Yeah. And I really don't have the time to put in all that time and to get, maybe at a later point in life, but my personality, golf is so personality driven. My personality is like, go for the fucking bomb at all times, aggressive. And those kind of personalities, they don't do well in golf, because number one, they get upset, and two, they get upset. So yeah, that's that.
The repetition of golf is challenging. Like you said, to be able to back off to swing 30% when because I always think like this. If I usually golf before work. So I'll golf like 7:30 in the morning, but it's after lifting. So I just got done deadlifting, trying to be aggressive. And then all of a sudden I got to go with the sand wedge and try to be like, it's almost so counterintuitive to what my norm is, like fucking grab it and all out. You know what I'm saying? It's a tricky one, but I think to be able to play the game, being in business is big. So as long as you can go and not make an absolute fool out of yourself, I think it's good to at least have some, decency on the course. It's never hurt me. That's for sure. Most people were surprised when I would go out. So, all right. Here's a good one, John. What are your top 3 supplements you would recommend someone new coming to Max Effort?
Top 3 supplements, I would 100% recommend greens, because I think for, let's say, the average male in your 20s or 30s, whatever, lifter, greens isn't typically in their repertoire of supplements. And I could tell you, number one, it kickstarts your metabolism, and it gives you I don't know a lot of people that take in the amount of vegetables every day that they're supposed to. It
Not very
gives
many.
you all that stuff. It kickstarts your metabolism. So I would say greens. I would definitely say amino recovery, because amino acids that mixing with greens hydrate you. And for people who may drink a beer or may drink caffeine, hydration is so fucking
huge,
important. It's ridiculous. And then beyond that, I'd go with just the Amphetamax, because drinking coffee and drinking any kind of caffeine is obviously, most people do it to be more focused at work or just be productive or just feel motivated. And Amphetamax is such a balanced nootropic that you could focus without all that caffeine. So for me, Amphetamax is my favorite.
Yeah, my number one is going to be amino recovery. I freaking love that formula. I love the way I feel when I take it. I've been taking 20 grams of branched chains and 10 grams of glutamine, which is 2 scoops in my gallon jug since John and I've met, pretty much, or met being business partners. I've followed this protocol and it's helped me a ton. I would say number 2, obviously I like pre-workout 100% to the dome. I think just because I train so early in the morning, having something in the morning to get me rocking is really important. And I'm going to go with number 3. I've seen a ton of benefits from CBD before bed, and when John brought CBD and Jason brought CBD, kind of this idea to Max Effort, I really hadn't had any experience with it. This is when it was kind of more gray area, but I've seen a lot of value with being, almost a 42-year-old athlete, still pushing the envelope like I do, to have a deeper sleep that was also showcased by using that Whoop strap, like when they were a sponsor here. And then just the way I feel when I wake up, I feel refreshed. I feel like I got a deeper sleep. I don't sleep a whole bunch. So the quality is really important. And so those are the 3, and I'm trying to go for the more general, like, hey, I'm not really taking a lot of supplements. Like, where do I start? But I'm working out. And I think those 3 or John's 3 would be huge for sure.
Yeah, no, you're right with the CBD, and I didn't put that in there because it's such like almost like a staple that I don't look at as a supplement. But for people who need to recover, especially at nighttime, it's huge. Seriously unbeatable. There's all these nighttime formulas in the supplement market. CBD destroys them all, period. It's an anti-inflammatory. It puts you to sleep. It relaxes your body. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Shit, I was trying to grab it and show it. Boom, right there. CBD 1000.
Yeah.
All right. So at Colin Philibot says, I know you guys aren't professional investors, but I'd really like to know what your thoughts are on just ETF and index investing.
My personal thoughts are boring.
I guess that's just betting straight on what index investing would be, just straight betting on the market. That's it, right, John?
Yeah, like, hey, I'm gonna bet on the NASDAQ growth this year, the growth of the S&P 500. Okay, listen, when I say boring, I shouldn't say that. Well, yeah, it's boring, but it doesn't mean it's not going to yield money. So in a healthy economy, free of roadblocks like pandemics and recessions, I think it's safe. Safe is the word. Okay.
Because what are you going to get, like 10, 20, 10, or like 8 to 10% kind of, or 12 roughly, John, on index most of the time?
Yeah. In normal years, maybe you'll be there. Maybe you'll be a little higher. Maybe you'll be a little lower. It's safe. It's safe. It's safe. But I think everyone needs to understand, at least in my opinion, and from a lot of professionals who know way more than me that I've talked to, when you are younger and you have consistent income, a huge part of your investing strategy has to be risky. It has to be risky because that you have time to be risky. When you're older and you're looking at retiring, that money you have, you're not just going to go out and earn for another 30, 40 years. So when you're younger, you have to take more risk.
Yeah, that's accurate. I think that's also where, like, I was like early when I started to understand the dividends, I was so pumped about it, but then I realized I wasn't taking enough risk in growth stocks and now I've shifted that to where now I'm going and say, okay, a percentage of this can go to something that I think is going to, especially with all the stuff that's available right now. And then boom, I'm still going to have a plan with the dividend stuff. So I just, I think once I started understanding, I got so excited about that, but then I missed some growth opportunities, and now I'm playing a little bit of both. And that's part of the whole, anytime you start to finally learn something.
Everyone misses. Like you just,
it's part of the business, right, Johnny? It's just what it is.
Yeah. It's like, we're never going to buy all at the bottom. We're never going to sell at the top. We just have to, like, be comfortable with moves that we make. I just live by the fact that I don't know one person who ever got hurt in the stock market by selling and taking a profit. I don't know one person who's gotten hurt that way.
Yeah, because then it's like the gain's there, so you're not going to lose the gain. It's like maybe it could go up a little bit more, but like you said, once you is it one of those things, John, where you make that cut and then you're like, boom, I'm not going to then go back and wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda? Is it just like anything else? Are you able to do that?
And I think what it is you take the gain, and then if the position or the stock that gave you the gain shows indicators that it's going to continue to move, you can't, let's say, buy something at 150, sell it at 170, and it's at 190, but it's showing all these signs that it's a fucking freight train. You cannot be too proud to go back in at 190.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't. You can't. We can give you an example of every fucking stock that used to cost nothing. Right. I remember fucking Facebook. Everyone said, you're an idiot to buy it at 29. You're an idiot to buy it. I remember
it's 229 now.
Yeah. You're an idiot to buy it at 29. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then, okay, if you bought it at 29 and you sold at 40, oh, it's at 70 now.
Yeah.
Oh, how am I? So you just have to understand that in a healthy economy, good companies continue to grow.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Next is from @FierceFather. Wants to know, what's your thoughts on contentment? Should you ever be content or always strive for more? What's your thought on that, John?
So that to me, that's a double-edged sword. So if he's talking about in life, I think finding true contentment, I think that might be the biggest win of them all. I think that's the biggest gift
outside of business.
Yeah, outside of business. I think in business, while you're pushing and while you're, let's say, in the game, right? I don't think you should be content. I don't think you should be content. That's my personal opinion, because when you're content, we've talked about it a million times, this is a competitive arena. There's somebody who wants it more. So we talk. Michael Jordan was never content. That's why you didn't beat him, and he had it all. So in business, if you're content, the guy who's much smaller than you but wants what you have, he's going to take it because he wants it more. So I don't think you should be content in business, but in life, God bless you if you get there.
Yeah. And I mean, I would guess, John, the way you view your mom, how you've talked about it multiple times, she would be pretty much a content person, right?
100%.
Like in your mind, right?
Yep.
And that's why I always, once I've kind of moved to the town I wanted to be in and had the gym set up and had like the things that were lifestyle based, we'll say, that I like aspired to have. That's part of the reason why I never moved to Denver back in the day. It's part of the reason why, even though the weather's been really pissing me off lately, but I've been, so like pro on, like, I've always felt that way here and I can't explain it. You know what I mean? I never
think
felt
it's the
like
Bengals. I think it's the Bengals.
Yeah, it's definitely not the fucking
I think it's
Bengals,
the Cincinnati Bengals,
which I've never even been close to a Bengals fan. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think it's one of those things like you can either feel it or not feel it. I just never had, and it's not been a full blown contentment, but there's pieces of it that as they started matching up, I just really enjoy. And I mean, I've seen it even since you've been down there, John, from a lifestyle standpoint, how much you love where you're at, what's going on around it, the water right there. I didn't know this, but you shared a couple of episodes about how you went there as a kid and had good memory. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all that kind of goes into, I think, part of that.
100%. And you have to work to get there. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to live in the town you want to live in and have your gym, like you said, that's personal stuff, but you had to work to get that. I had to work to get this, and the work is not over. But I think it's a perfect mix of working to get what you want and living a lifestyle outside of work that you're happy with.
And understanding that, to your point on the business part, is that as soon as you start to lay low or hang back, there's always somebody that wants your spot, wants that sale, wants that limelight, wants that push, wants that download. That's never going to stop until you stop.
No, that is business.
That's a fact. That's a business. I mean, that's
business.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people have this fairy tale of, when I get to this point, I'm getting to chill. It's not fucking that way. Right.
Well, if they think that we're cash out,
exactly.
Then they can. But I would say when you're chilling, you're probably going to get bored after a week.
Well, that's the other thing that's what a lot of people that even aren't as nuts as us that I've talked to, like, I would never perceive them as crazy as us from a business standpoint. They're bored in 2 months. You can only play so much golf. And they're not being they're not being inspired anymore. They're not helping anybody. It's like, I really think that retirement type of thing is kind of phantom, honestly.
Well, yeah, and everybody has this, that I guess the best example of it is the lottery. Everyone has oh my God, if I won 60 million or if I won the Powerball, I would just take it and fucking chill. It's like, but like, actually think about that. What you're saying is, if I get money, I'm going to remove myself from pretty much every facet of life.
Yeah.
It's not just work. It's like, so what are you saying about the actual life experience? There's so much there. So just because you have money, you're going to just pull back. Like, that's just so short-sighted. It's stupid. And I don't even believe it's true. I believe if people get in that situation, if they do that, they're going to get themselves in trouble, like many lottery winners have. Or once they get there, they'll figure out, no, man, this isn't what I want. I'll go work at Home Depot just so I can talk to people and shit. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm worth $50 million. It doesn't matter.
Well, I always like kind of what you've mentioned multiple times, John, is that you're in businesses you like. You might not want to be there like every hour doing the smaller things. You can remove yourself from that, but still running the business, being, a part of like the creativeness of it and manage it. Like, that's fun for you because you're a business guy. So you don't look at that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just part of your lifestyle. Kind of like what people ask me about the exercise part, like, especially with my content, like, I'm capturing what I'm going to do anyway. So is it eventually, would I not do it? Maybe not as an extreme, but it's like so much of the fabric of who I am.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I retire from working out or telling people how to work out? I don't know. Maybe
here's the answer.
You don't.
You don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
So
or do I want to?
Yeah,
right?
Like you don't have to.
Yeah. So that's because, I think when you grow up in traditional kind of thought processes, I'm around a lot of people that didn't like their job. So their, grail was retirement.
Correct.
So I'm sure you were around that too. So like,
sure.
That's a different kind of mentality because you're just like waiting to retire because you're so fucking tired of what you're doing. And so I think it's different when you like what you're doing. And although there's road bumps and it's hard and there's fires and solution and all that goes into it, but the end of the day, you're still doing something you like. So you don't have that same kind of mentality. I think that maybe that's part of where that comes from, is because people are usually doing something they don't enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. The things we're talking about, we'd be doing whether they came with a paycheck or they didn't.
That is fact, Johnny. That is a fact. This one guy, I can't even say his thing. It's 0517. I can't pronounce the first part. He wants to know what trading platform you use, John.
So I use Scott Trade, which was gobbled up by TD Ameritrade. I use E-Trade. I have a Robinhood account with like a little bit of money in there, and then I use my financial advisor who uses his own platform. So I have the majority in Ameritrade, Scott Trade, whatever. But E-Trade, I do some more aggressive stuff, and then
because E-Trade will let you do penny stocks and stuff too, right, Johnny? They don't have you can buy anything there.
You could buy anything on
on Scott too.
TD Ameritrade, yeah.
I use a broker also, like John said, and then I do Robinhood. But Robinhood is what I just kind of mess around with, in and out of, and kind of jack around with. The other stuff I do mostly with the broker. All right, next question. Anthony, who's a really good power lifter, I know. He asked a question. He's got a t-shirt company, and he said, sponsoring athletes or musician when you're a smaller business, is that worth the hassle?
So
he's by the way, he's into like super hardcore death metal. So I'm assuming he's thinking about putting his t-shirts on some death metal guys. Which is amazing.
So here's the thing, as someone who's allocated and been in that position for companies would hire me or my company to go get people and do that. So here's the thing. Yes, it can be effective, but you have to know, and before you even contact these people, you have to have what we refer to as your deliverables laid out. So when you say, okay, I'm going to pay you $1,000 a month or whatever that may be, you can say, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And then here's the kicker. If they don't meet what they agreed to do, they don't just get the money. They earn the money by hitting the deliverables. But where a lot of companies go wrong is they're like, oh, bro, I'm in music. Wouldn't it be badass to fucking have Jimi Hendrix's son? That'd be so fucking sick. And then they reach out to Jimi Hendrix's son and they give him, I don't even know if he has a son. And then they get, I don't know. And then they give him $5,000 a month, and they want him to do this stuff. And they're like, oh, hey, by the way, can you do a post? And by the way, can you do a giveaway? And but nothing gets done because you didn't establish the deal based on deliverables, and you didn't make it clear you do not get paid unless you do these things. So I think it can work if you as the operator are organized.
Well, and back in the day, right, especially if it's a band that has, they're up and coming, a lot of times we did this with supplements or gear, was product sponsorships. If you can get a product sponsorship, but still have the outline deliverables that you're not going to get as much if you're not shelling out cash. But, if you have a personal relationship, or you kind of in there, like, you can get them to do a product sponsorship, but still outline the stuff and they put it on their story or whatever. I think that's definitely, could be step one. But most of the time, if they have pop, they're going to want money. That's just what it is. Yeah. So yes, if you have it structured, it can work. I've seen it work a bunch too, but I've also seen it not work. Flow Rider.
Shout out to Flow.
Shout out to Flow Rider. No one that knows Flow Rider buys supplements, or that at least I proved that. Jeez. All right, hold on. I've been going real time on these, by the way. So real time with
Corey Gregory.
Yes, it is real time. Oh, okay. What is 2 or 3 of the key books that you and John like? Which we've talked about this before, but we got a lot of new people. Have you had any new ones enter into the equation, John? Like in the most recently, like the last couple months? Has there been any even one new book? I know your Art of War. Like Art of War is John's main.
Yeah, that's my go-to. So yeah, I have, but I haven't read them. So my mom will always send me like books that she feels like fit my, person, what I'm interested in. And also there's always like an element of like, spirituality and stuff like that. I've gotten like 2 or 3 books, but in the last 2 or 3 months, I have not finished a book. So I would be a faker to tell you I did.
I'm having a hard time reading. Like, I mean, I'm not actually reading. I know I have a hard time spelling. That's different, John.
Okay.
But let me clear that up.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the audio, because of just, moving around, lunging, driving, I just can get way more accomplished that way. So like, I like to physically read books and I enjoy it. It's relaxing, it's whatever, but I just don't really get it done that way. I want to, like, and it sounds good, but it just doesn't happen. Or by the time I go to read, I'm so tired because it's at night, it makes me go to sleep legitimately. Like I literally,
there you go.
The only one I've been mentioned multiple times, and I think you read this one too, John, is from Ryan Holiday, The Stillness is a Key. Yeah. I think with what we got going on right now, if you have not read that book,
so relevant, but I didn't finish it.
But the basics of it though, which is,
yeah, absolutely.
And he's just good. His whole catalog's good.
His whole catalog is good. I don't think, even though I haven't finished it, I don't think that's his best book, but because it's so specific. But I guess the principle is so crucial. But check it out. I'll always point to ego is the enemy. That kind of changed the way I thought about a lot of things.
That's really good too.
But yeah, no, that is a great book. And it's very relevant, right?
I think that's a good enough answer for that question. All right, this is a funny one. At Ryan Spiker.
Yeah, sorry, we failed you on that.
Yeah, we failed. But hey, if he's never read that book, that'll be big for him, John. All right, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh at this one. At Ryan Spiker wants to know, who is the most famous person in your cell phone that you could call?
Who's the most famous person?
I think I know your answer, but I'll be interested to see what you say.
Yeah, it would probably. It's going to be UFC related. It's
probably Ronda, right?
It's either Dana White, John Jones, or Ronda Rousey.
I would argue probably Ronda is more probably more. Well, I don't know. Dana's pretty fucking famous, but Ronda is like fucking monstrous.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Dana just because he's been like Time 100, like Time 100 most interesting people in the world, and he's So I don't think about things like that.
I know you don't. That's why I knew you'd laugh. Whatever. The funny thing is, when I read the question, I was thinking, so I've had to use the number only like 2 or 3 times. I don't have any I don't have a cell phone to Arnold, but I have his house number, so I've had to use it twice. One time there was a really good like sales thing I wanted to tell him, and one time I was told to call because I fucked something up, and that one sucked because you were
terminated. You were terminated.
I was calling the fucking Terminator at his house to get yelled at, and I mean metaphorically, like there was something business wise that he was not happy about, and he was cool, but it was very like down the middle. And so I have not used that number since then. I feel like if I needed to use it, it's there, but I do not use it like to just call and say hi. So no, but I got terminated the last time I used it though. Yeah, that was, but you know what's so interesting though, even with how that conversation went once it was over, John, which is the same how me and you are. If we're taking care of something and then it's done, as long as we move on and don't hang it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people think that, you have hard conversations with fucking people that are serious. A lot of times they drop it right after, as long as it's handled. And that's how that conversation went. So it never drug on to anything else after that.
I think anybody that has sustained success, once they deal with something that they're unhappy with and they hear what they need to hear, AKA a solution, they know there's no point to stay there. They know the answer is always to move forward.
And I think if you're the person that's on the other side of that, fucking shitty conversation, like you can't,
you got to take your beatings,
and you can't take it on either. You know, but meaning like the person that's taking the beating can't take that on past the conversation either. Cause I think a lot of people do that.
Well, yeah, they take it on through guilt. They say, "Oh, I let him down." No, here's how if you feel like you let someone down that's, kind of iconic or you look up to, here's how you make it up. It's real simple. You make up for it. And trust me, they don't need anything else. They don't need your words. They don't need your bullshit. Just make up for it. Make up for it in the way that that they accept. Make up for it, and then it's dead. It's over. Move forward.
I'm going to spin off of that. Talk about that, John, because I think, okay, the delivery when it's time, especially after an occurrence. Like, so if you're in business and you're mixing it up with somebody, no matter what status they're at, and then you have that next, opportunity, whether it's big or small, to deliver, that's when you not kind of your point, you make up for it even more to say like, no, I'm supposed to be in this spot. You got me here for a reason. This is what I'm capable of. Like, you can't then give yourself like a C- fucking, type of like operation from that point on, especially with the next project to do, the next thing. Like, a lot of people then come back and their tails behind their legs and they're fucking, you know what I mean? Like, that's not how you win big. It's kind of my point.
Yeah, it's self-defeating. And when someone, we'll use that as an example, and Arnold gets on you, Arnold is going to forget it. He's going to forget it because he's got bigger shit to do.
For sure.
Okay, you can never forget it. You can never forget it, because when the time is right to do for him, the way you show him that you took that seriously and you remind him is by fucking doing something for him or getting it done right, or just performing in a way that affects him in a positive way. So the person on the lower end of the totem pole cannot forget it. The person on the higher end of the totem pole always forgets it, because they're on right after the phone is hung up. They're on to something bigger and better. That's it. So the lower guy,
that's knowing the score.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers forget the score. I knew the score. I was like, same what you said. He's going to hang this up and forget about this, because then he's like doing a fucking Terminator 4 deal or something. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about that. That was like one little thing in his day. But I have to say, the next opportunity, I need to fucking blaze it so his confidence doesn't lack with me.
Right.
So he trusts that I can,
an afterthought, because let's face it, his life is too busy, and he only can have performers around him, because all he has is big opportunity. And if you're not a performer, why the hell would he include you in his party?
Facts, bro. How many people you think miss this, John?
I think most do, because I think they miss it for the wrong reason. I think they say, "Oh my God, I look up to this person, or he's above me, or she's above me, and I let them down. And then as opposed to saying, I'm going to make it up and having this positive can-do attitude, they beat themselves up. And then what happens is you're defeating yourself, because that person is never going to put faith in you again, not because you did one thing wrong. One thing wrong can always be forgiven. It's because you folded over and you quit. You know what I'm saying?
And that's like the worst, especially for if you're working with a successful person, they're going to be like, this motherfucker's weak.
Well, here's how they look at it. Here's how I would look at it. Like, oh, that's how you're going to respond. All right, I'm going to take you outside of the barn and put you out like a dead dog. I'm just going to shoot you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're done. Like, you're finished.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to elaborate on this, because I think these are some of the things that we do here and talk about here, John, that you don't get on other business podcasts. These are things that happen in everybody's workplace. Everyone has the totem pole. People fuck up things, but understanding that person just wants to see how you respond. You're going to forgive if somebody says, man, my bad. And then the next 7 things you do with them are fucking awesome. You didn't even remember that other thing.
Right. Well, yeah, and if you did, you knew that they took it seriously.
Yeah.
You know, so you're like, all right, well, of course, everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. Even the big guy on the other end of the phone call, or the big gal on the other end of the phone call.
Everyone.
They make mistakes, but everything is how you recover.
Yeah, so good. That's good stuff. So our questions are a little bit lacking. So what I'm going to do is we are going to audible to what else? What else is going on, Fosco?
Well, what else?
I like the elaboration on that stuff though, because I feel like honestly, the intangibles of business is a lot of that type of stuff. Not that exact situation, but there's a lot of different situations like that. It's all how you handle it. Yeah. And that's how you essentially wiggle your way into these spots by continuing to deliver and have foresight and deliver and fuck up, but then make it better and come back a different way. Like we've been at the table with me and John have been at the table with some pretty serious people since we've worked together. Some we did good, some we did bad, but you're always kind of not overthinking it, but thinking, all right, well, what the next time we're there, what's the next strategy or what did we do wrong the first time? I mean, dude, that's just what it is. It's part of it.
Yeah, it's just it's always tweaking, and the joke is on you if you think you've tweaked enough and you're perfect. You know what I'm saying? I think if we're free flowing here,
you're free flowing.
So
what do you got?
The purple drink that I drink sometimes during the show.
Here we go.
So we talked about it when the quarantine started. So I go to this one gas station that's kind of in the hood sometimes, and it was by my chiropractor. And I don't know, I've been going there for a year and a half, and there's a woman in there that works. She's probably, I don't know, mid-40s, maybe closer to 50, and you almost feel like when you see her that like maybe her son had died. She's bitter, man. She's like bitter on life, like
you can feel it on her.
Oh, you could feel it. And just every time you're around, oh, thank you, there's no response. It's just like bitter. And I hadn't been there in I don't know, 3 months, because they had a shortage on purple drinks. So I stopped there because they were close.
Shortage on the lean.
Yeah. To the chiropractor, and there's a different woman working, and I'm checking out, and the bitter woman, looks like she's walking in on her shift, and she's like, "Oh, you back to work?" And I assume she's talking to the woman behind the desk, like her coworker. She's like, "You back to work?" And I turned around and she's talking to me, and she's got a huge smile on her face. I'm like, "Back to work?" I'm like, "I'm always working. What are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh, it's so good to see you again. How come you haven't been coming in?" And I'm like, "Holy fucking shit." Like, she literally was the most rude, like just straight mean. And she's smiling. She's happy. And it's not about me. It's just like, okay, this is kind of cool, because it's kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning of the quarantine. People are happy to see, to feel normalcy. And maybe to her, as when she would see me every morning, I represent normalcy. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting, because she'd be the last person I'd put my money on to fucking greet me or inquire about my life.
That's pretty. So your mind was a little blown by that.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, this little experiment's good.
I hope we don't forget it.
I do too. I do too. And I think we always forget it, but hopefully we won't forget this one.
I think maybe with the lag of it, because it's going to lag for a while, I don't know that we'll forget it super fast, John. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Listen, it just feels like, when you look at the psychology of where you go, like I go to the same place every morning after I work out to eat. And
Cracker Barrel.
No.
I just fucking with you.
That's my off day. Fucking
okay.
Hell yeah. But basically, I say to myself, do I like their food that much? And the answer is no, I don't. Is it healthier? Sure it is. But I go there because when I go there, I know everybody there. They know me, and it's just a welcoming environment. And you go to places where people just like fill you up and make you feel something, you know what I'm saying? So it's just I don't know.
I do the same thing with I go to the local like IGA grocery store, which is more expensive than like Kroger's, because like you walk by and the guy who's cutting the steaks knows you, and you walk and the same old person's running the red. It's just like, I don't know. I think humans like to have that type of environment most of the time. Some people don't want to see or talk to anybody, but I don't know. I just think that
they do. I think they do. I think I think technology. Technology has taken that away. So I think they really do, but they don't know how to. I don't think they know how to. You know what I'm saying? Like a human being is programmed to connect with other human beings.
Yeah.
That's like our DNA.
I look forward to it. Like that's what my wife's always tripped out by that. She's like, you want to talk to everybody at the grocery store. It's so interesting to me. I'm like, you don't? She's like, not really. I just want to go and get my groceries and get the hell out of there. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's just funny,
Yeah. Well, I would say wanting to talk to people is a good thing.
No, it is. And I've always been that way. I'm the guy talking to fucking random people around the street all the time. That's just kind of how I've always been. But
it's that's not going to upset anyone's day.
No, not at all. But I think it's more of a confidence thing or a technology thing. I don't think it's a person thing. You know what I mean? I think it's sometimes it's like,
I think it's probably a comfort thing, right? You're comfortable doing it. You're comfortable doing it. It's just kind of like,
but I'm saying is some people are uncomfortable doing it. So that's why they dip in and out, because it feels uncomfortable to, talk to somebody that they don't know or do whatever. But anyway, it just seems like everyone's more open for it right now, which is good.
I couldn't agree more.
Is there anything you're nervous about with the quarantine, post-quarantine, we'll call it, John?
I'm nervous about, I'm not saying I think this is going to happen, but I'm nervous about what could happen because let's face it, these 3 phases that states were supposed to follow, like they're just bullshit. Nobody can recite what the fucking 3 phases.
I don't even know. Yeah.
So it's like 0 to 100. Okay. And people could say, well, restaurants open. Okay. I would say go into a restaurant, see like
it's the same.
Normal. So my concern is that this thing perks back up, and if it perks back up and if it puts us back into the only thing that we know worked, which is some sort of quarantine, I think that would be awful. And I would actually disagree with it, and I'll tell you why. I would disagree with it because there's with more cases globally, especially domestically, we have more data, and I just can't pound enough that at-risk people need to be responsible for themselves, and people who are not as much at risk, we're gonna have to live differently. So if we ever got into a place where the state said the answer is to shut down again, I think that would be the wrong call, number one, and number two, I think it would be devastating. Like devastating to business, like completely devastating.
I don't know that people will go through it again. Like, I just think we'll have a lot more problems, right or wrong. It's just going to be a fact. And people are already heating up towards, I think this is why, but we're essentially, in my mind, kind of maybe opening up even a little too early, but it's just what it is. And that's the only thing I'm nervous about is like policing what I'm supposed to police at the gym. And, some people believe, some people don't believe, like, you can do what the rules are, but you can't like govern everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where I'm a little nervous, is just, I'm excited about being back at the gym, whether I think it's the exact right thing or not. I'm going to open it up and go,
right.
But then it's like, and I'm going to bandana up and try to do that. But is that going to last for how many workouts? I mean, I don't.
Yeah. It's
probably not going to last.
I mean, here's the truth of the matter. Eventually, if this thing is what people say it is, and it's going to pass through us. The odds of everyone getting it or having it are extremely high if it moves like they said. See, because we don't even know if the fucking data is right. We don't know. We don't know what the fuck is right. So what we do know is that it can pass through people, and people could not even know. Yeah. So the hope is that if we do open up too fast and the thing gets passed around, then people build up immunity to it. They refer to it as herd immunity or whatever they want to call it. And then it's not so devastating. But I think it will always be dangerous until there is a vaccine or something of the like to the at-risk population. I just think we have to start viewing this through a different lens, and whether we like it or not, because of the way it's been handled, it's all on us. It's all on the individual. So if you don't like it, stay home. That's your choice. If I'm comfortable, I'm going to go to work. I'm like, so we can't control the controls, right? That's just what it is. So I don't know what else to say outside of this is the situation we're in. Do what you feel you need to do.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
When you went to Georgia, because you was just there like a week ago, they were already open. Did it feel strange?
It felt
was it relieving?
It felt good. It felt good. Now, at the same time, I'm not a scientist and I don't know the dangers, right?
Yeah.
But of course, it felt good to be able to go into a gym, to be able to go out to dinner and sit in
Did it look any different, John?
So yeah, the gyms, like I said, people were cleaning their equipment before and after, which is always good. They were not as crowded. The people were taking temperatures in the restaurants. It looked like they were spacing you until they got more customers. And then when more customers came in, the whole spacing kind of just went out the window. So at the end of the day, it felt more like normal life. It didn't. Now the streets and everything, they weren't moving like normal, right?
Yeah.
But you could see the intent to return to normalcy, and that felt good.
Yeah. They're going back and forth right now about potentially closing down the street kind of in the middle of my town so the businesses can have for the outside seating, which I think would be amazing because like my dude Ensemble, which the Mexican joint De Noche we've been to a bunch of times, he can have like five tables. I mean, he can't survive on 5 tables and takeout. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause he just doesn't have an outdoor eating area. So they're trying to figure out. And so, at the end of the day, like everybody's business has different challenges as we do in South Carolina and I have at the gym and, things online, but it's like, you see the food, man. And I really fucking feel for these guys because there's literally just not enough space in the dude's joint. Now, normally it'd be fucking packed, have all these staff. He's back here cooking himself and got 1-2 people and just trying to make it through. But the survival of small business right now is just what it is. And that right there is, everybody's just doing what they got to do to get by.
To me, it just feels so data driven to say, okay, the answer for restaurants is to put tables outside so we can space people 6 feet. This whole 6 feet, right? Like I get you shouldn't be, but like there's no data that shows 6 feet is the magic number. There's no data.
Yeah, true.
Is I think it's basically like if someone sneezes or it's like it's just like these raggedy ass attempts at such a monster problem. So now we're going to shut down streets and create potential
restaurants
traffic issues to save restaurants. I think we just need to let people go back to fucking normal. And if you feel unsafe going into a restaurant, don't go.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, raggedy ass. I haven't heard that in a while. That's almost like that's an underused phrase, I think, Fosco.
Hey, it's fucking raggedy. You're gonna shut down a street it's gonna take me fucking 20 minutes to get somewhere when it should take me 4. Like it's just it's short-term thinking. It's at the end of the day, like I said, Trump's in power. He's decided to give it to the states. The states get to decide. Fucking just go. If we're going back, let's go back, right? Just like if we're gonna stay inside, let's stay inside. It's just all this middle bullshit that makes stuff fucking impossible.
Yeah. Hey, lastly, I think we should talk about the Shopify Facebook combo, which you didn't realize at first. You saw the stock going, right? I saw Zuckerberg on Shopify's Twitter live talking about it. So that's the only way I knew that's what it was. But the fact that Shopify linked up with Facebook to essentially integrate their cart, right? Which is
Yeah, what that says, well, it sounds like more like Facebook's using Shopify's technology
On
their platform.
Yeah.
Which being a Shopify bull as I am, is as big as it gets, because like we said, Facebook as a company almost has 3 billion users. My long just got longer. You know?
I mean, that thing could seriously pass up Amazon, John.
Oh God.
Right?
I mean, dude, I don't know. All I know is that like it just keeps going up. It just
$800, bro.
Up, dude. Like it was $350 not too long, like I don't know, a month ago.
That's one of those ones where I took a small gain on, and I'm like looking at it now like fuck. But that, once again, you can't go back and fucking wish I shoulda, coulda. That's just what it is.
What you could do is
get back in,
buy now and take a risk. You know, maybe that risk pays off handsomely.
Well, and that's where it gets tough, right? When you're looking at, okay, let's say I think Shopify or Amazon could double from here. It's hard not to look at something else, that could 2 or 3 times, but is the risk more or less than buying something that's 800? That's where it gets like kind of shaky,
Yeah. So that's why kind of like before we went on, what I was talking about is like if you hit a gain on something that's, let's say, not as safe as a big institution, like whatever, we'll just use Amazon again because it's so easy. Yeah. I believe in taking your gain from the speculative risky stock and parking that shit in
something long.
Yeah, in a monster. You know what I'm saying? So you're cutting your risk, you're taking your gain, but you're still reinvesting it in something that has upside.
So let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say your friend made 15 grand in a high speculative stock and was thinking about then taking it and parking it at Amazon because it's free money at this point. Is that what you're talking about, Johnny?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Because that's what I'm looking at. Like, all right, well, this thing's jumped. And, hey, do I go and say,
why did it jump? Why did it jump? And if it's just like people are trading the shit out of it,
and
pushing it, dude, trust me, when things are just jumping,
they jumping.
They also crash. They jump, and you're like, how the fuck is something up 15% 5 days in a row?
Literally, that's what it did too. That's literally what it did.
And then it's down fucking, 20% 3 days in a row.
My broker was like,
people are cashing the fuck out.
My broker was like, well, it's had a bad day. It's only up 8% today.
Right.
I mean, that's exactly. All right, John, you got any parting shots? We're going to wrap this thing up.
Any parting shots? No, I don't. I don't.
Lost for words. John Fosco lost for words.
I don't know. I don't. It's it's a good day.
It's Friday. You gonna get some beers on tonight, John, or what?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do this.
So, hey, one of them, I want to bring this up and then we'll wrap it. One of the most epic episodes is when you and I both got hammered.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing. I don't know if we could do this, but because we usually record a little early, but I think we should do a Friday where we started off by like chugging 3 beers and then we start the podcast.
Yeah.
Would you be down? We should do that, Fosco.
If we chug 3, chug 3 beers. Yeah, dude, listen, my tolerance is like fucking weak.
Same. Mine's terrible too. So it would be 10 minutes in. Who fuck knows what we'd be talking about?
Yeah. I don't got much of a tolerance. So there'd be some. I'd be talking like a pervert or something.
All right, Johnny Fosco.
Gee,
can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast can't be stopped.
3, 2, 1. On this episode, back to Q&A. We're all over the board. Find out if John Fosco's got any golf game, what his favorite stock is that he's long on right now. And fuck, we give you all kinds of advice.
All kinds of they know what stock I'm long on because they listened to the last episode. You set up the golf question because currently you could probably beat me. So you're a fucking faker.
I'm a fake friend on that one.
You're a complete fraud. Besides Corey being a complete faker, this show was fun. So
let's go to the show.
Yeah.